All right, so for video 2 on gables for elevations, this is really more like using the uh, elevation drawing of the roof to then go ahead and perfect or really actually accurately draw the roof plan itself. Okay. And the good thing about this is really usually I only need one or two, typically a combination of two adjacent faces. Sometimes I need a third, but I still will leave all of these up here, and then once I have enough information to go and create one roof plan, then I'll go ahead and do so. Okay. Something worth noting, and I noted it in the other video, was really double checking. This is the last great point because I'm going to kind of quit referring to this drawing with all the blocks in it. But, looking at your window plans and seeing if they are feasible, like in terms of this, this window is above a kitchen sink. That window obviously cannot be 5 feet tall. Otherwise, you have a cabinet height that's coming down in here on the inside of the room, and that would put the bottom of the window below the cabinet. Okay, I had a transom window in here, and when I shot my 5 foot line across with my windows, I forgot that that was a transom. And I've got the same thing in here because I have a washer and dryer as well as a toilet, and so those windows had to change in height as well. So you do want to make periodic glances back when you're doing this. Okay, so where I started with this whole thing, this was a idea. This was telling me that this house would be situated in a way that when I stood in front of it, the highest point in the front was a gable, and the highest point in the side was a gable, meaning now I've established that, right? If I stand in front of the house, I see a ridge up here, and then I see the ridge for this other primary larger section of the roof right here. Okay, and I have some things that are a little bit goofy, so let's see. I'm going to go ahead and just temporarily put these on another layer. I'll put them on, like, let's say, on a chimney layer, so that you can see how they work out. And again, I don't need any of these anymore. So I don't know how many people do it, my way, but it's, to me, this is kind of the way that I was taught. Is you kind of start from an idea up here, you use it to get the shape down here, and then you use the shape down here to get the locations back here. Okay, so everything is aligned. The only way this works is if my uh, building, if my floor plan right here, if that part and that part are in 100%. I didn't perfectly align them. I snapped to the wrong part. But if these are completely in alignment, then this method is really easy, and it's the same. It's the method of projection, where I just now go from the ridge and I shoot this line back all the way to the other ridge. Okay, it's a completely vertical line. I could go ahead and list it and check it because I've built everything off of a XY or parallel to an XY axis, and it tells me that that's 90 degrees. That's definitely something you want to check. So there you have that. Okay. This then is can be trimmed. Okay, and you can see how far off I was in estimating that ridge which is symbolized by the old green line. Okay, so this was way far off. Okay, and probably the reason was I think I had it here because I was looking at this type of intersection. I was estimating it off of this portion of the house, or rather, actually this portion of the house from that soffit to this soffit, which then would have been correct. You can see that that's pretty close. Okay, but this is the actual true ridge of the house. Okay, now the other thing is, let's go ahead and wipe this out. Okay, we don't know where these valleys are completely yet, but we are guaranteed, we're certain that this ridge is centered right here in the center of this wall. I'm positive of that. Okay, I double checked it down here, so I can trust that, and I can now just come to this side wall again, and I can draw from, see, like this midpoint is going to be goofy because it's basing it on the run of the soffit. So in this case, I'm going to go from the wall, and I'm going to go out to the soffit. And what I'm then going to do is extend it over to this ridge. But there's something here that you want to consider, which is this ridge on that front projection does not meet this ridge up here. Okay, it stops short of it. So now we have to determine how far is this point, this intersection, away from this point. And the easiest and simplest way to do that, I think, is just to go ahead and shoot a horizontal line over, bringing it past the ridge, and then shooting a vertical line over, okay, and intersecting it. You can then trim that, and this horizontal line has then showed that distance. Okay, that's not a distance. I don't care about distances down a slope. Okay, I care about the distance over, because then I can just use offset. So if I list that, it tells me that that line is 4 feet 3 inches. Okay, so now how's that helpful? Because if I offset this line 4 feet 3 inches, let's try that again. Offset 4 feet 3. I bring this to there. This now, if I were to extend it down, should wind up absolutely dead nuts on that intersection, and it does. So that's perfect. Okay. So now I've gone ahead and established that, and as you can see, the ridge cannot go past that line. And I'll go ahead and end up deleting this later. And now we have a valley that is formed, and that valley is formed from this intersection right here to right here. And it would be interesting if I've done everything right. Now these walls could be set differently, but if I did everything right, if I were to mirror this around this point, it should hypothetically work. But in this case, I don't know why it didn't. I could have my soffit could be a little bit tweaked. Oh, and this is a great time to check that, right? Because I can see right here that when I moved that wall, my soffit did not move. You can see right here the distance in my soffit is shorter right here. So hopefully we didn't I think I did adjust it right here. So great catch on that mistake. By using that mirror tool, it's kind of a check and balance right there. So in this case, I'll shoot that soffit down. I don't know why it's not extending. Boy, it sure just doesn't want to cooperate. So here's what I'll do. I'll just put a little tick mark right here where that ought to be. And I'll explode these, and I'll get rid of this one because I don't want it anymore. And what I'm going to do then is borrow a line and a line. So in this case, I can just draw this one straight upward. And what I'll do is I'll erase that one. I'll put this one in that same spot. So now I have like 2 marked locations where I know if I draw a vertical line, let's get rid of that little guy. So now if I draw this line from here all the way up to the other side of the building, I can't wait to see this work, or how it works. But it should work great. Voila. Get rid of these. Don't need them anymore. I got something a little goofed up right here, so I'm going to have to switch this soffit a little bit. I want to make sure that my distance from here to here, if it's 1'5", that's great. That just means I offset inward 1 inch. That's giving me my true 16. And, oops, should have gone ahead and filleted that. If I go F space, select here and select there, and I can trim this. Come back and neaten this up a little bit later. what I did again. Which way? This needs to offset inward 1 inch. And then this needs to be neatened up down here. Okay, and that's wiped out all that nonsense. So again, the whole origin of this problem started because of this wall change. And you can see that wall change compounded problems everywhere, all over this drawing. So I'll neaten that up as I go. But so now would be the interesting thing to check and see if I mirror this and I come out to here, if I did, and this is symmetrical, it should work out just great, and you can see it does now. Okay, so there's my valley. This part is a goner. Again, that was just to establish the height based off of here, right? Based off of the elevation. That's no longer a part of everything. And there's our simplified roof plan, okay? When you get that done, my suggestion is this. Go ahead and match properties. Okay, get everything on the roof that should be on the roof. Okay, that should be on the roof right there. And I'm going to match properties on these walls very quickly. I don't like this. This is silly right here. We never want to have that scenario happening. So I'll match properties here. I don't like having what should be a single line chopped up into line segments. And I think I had a portion of wall that was a little bit goofy right there. Okay. So when I've finished that, I want to save it. You know, this is a place where you put a lot of hard work in. You might want to save it and then save it again and then save it again and then save it again. All right. And again, so here's the power of layers. If I were to go off and turn off everything that's in that house, okay, if I turn off columns, if I turn off blocks, if I turn off windows, construction lines, I don't need those anymore. Doors, it's interesting why it asked me specifically in that case why I wanted to turn that one off. Whatever I had these on, chimney, stairs, text, base cabinets, and walls. Okay. In fact, you know what? I just did everything opposite. I should have left everything turned on and only turned off roof and walls. Okay, windows, text, turn all these back on. So ignore what I said. Turn off everything except for my roof and my walls. And go ahead, and I might leave my columns in there as well. So turn off your roof, walls, and we're going to want to leave columns wherever I had those. Turn off columns, turn it off, get rid of everything. Why did I get rid of all of that? Because now if I turn this on, and your roof plan typically doesn't show your walls, but it could be helpful to us at a certain point. So when I complete this roof plan, I have, or when I do a simple, this could be a foundation plan as well. I would just literally have my walls all connected. I would delete any of these openings for windows. So like I could go ahead and just maybe make a copy of this too and call this, like, this would be my foundation plan if I were to take my roof off of it. So how does that work? If I did this and erased it, I would extend down to there. And you can see that the way this works is just actually just like you did when you built your soffits. If you just connect the dots, this is the way that would work. Okay, so I'll come back and actually do that in the next video. But this is where you're at with again, getting a top view roof plan. This is really a true roof plan from the elevation. Okay.